Yeah, man. You already know what time it is. We're back here to serve some more game on the ground from Hunger Hounds. So just got the pound and are ready for the next round. So with that being said, if the music is too loud or you want it turned up a little bit, let me know. But yeah, man. With that being said, we got our orange juice. So with that being said, man, we're gonna jump right into this episode. As you guys can see, it's called "It Is What It Is," and it's called "It Is What It Is" for a reason because in life, it is what it is. Yeah, you can sit back. You can reflect on things. You can reflect on your life, your childhood, whatever the case may be, whatever it was. You can reflect on it, but you can never change it. I think that's what a lot of people try and do is they try and change what it was that happened to them that they can't change, or they try to change what it was that didn't happen to them that they can't change. And a whole lot of people, honestly, they get depressed from that. They get depressed, they get sad, they get down. They shut themselves up, they close themselves off, they push everybody away from them because they can't change what did or didn't happen to them. When you gotta accept what happened to you and just move on. You gotta take it as it is and just keep going, bro. Because let me tell you something. No amount of wallowing in your childhood or your memories, or whatever the case may be, is gonna change the fact that whatever happened to you or whatever didn't happen to you happened to you. That's just how it is, bro. It is a shame, and it sucks, and it's annoying, and it's boring, and a lot of times it drives you crazy. Because you sit around, and you think of all the different ways that you could have lived. You could have, your childhood could have been. You think of all the different things that you could have done, or all the things that you might not have done if you had known better. If somebody was there, or if something happened to you, or didn't happen to you that was supposed to happen to you. You can't change that stuff, bro. And so many people, they get caught up in it, and they base their lives around the fact that there's something that happened to them that they can't change. So when you sit back and you think about it, you're just like, You gotta really see, because this is the thing, man. We all do deep thinking sometimes. We all think about all the things that happened to us as children, as kids in our childhood. We all think about our childhood. We all reminisce on the good things and the bad things. And a lot of people, they can't get over the bad things. A lot of people can't get over the things that that happened to them or didn't happen to them, and so they base their lives around it. And it's just like, bro, stop. You gotta learn to accept it, because guess what? It happened. Whether it was supposed to happen, whether it wasn't supposed to happen, guess what? It happened. So you gotta accept it, bro, because that's just what life is. Life is a whole bunch of stuff that happens, whether you want it to happen or you don't want it to happen. And a lot of times it's inconvenient. A lot of times it's painful. A lot of times it's very saddening. Most people live within that sadness, and they just stay in that cycle of sadness, and they wonder why their life sucks. I know people who are literal shells of themselves because of things that happened to them, or things that they saw. I know people, and I'm gonna get you up on out of here real quick because I don't like that name. But I know people who, because they watch their friends lose their lives, they watch their friends get their heads, uh, gone. They've watched so many of their childhood friends leave the earth. And because they were all doing things that they weren't supposed to do. I mean, he's even admitted it. But that kind of stuff, man, people can't get past it. So what they do is they find something to cope with it. They find something to fill that void that they have, that creates. And a lot of times, that void is flour, rolling it up. That void is the drink, getting buzzed all the time. Or pills, sniffing stuff, things that you don't supposed to do because they haven't learned how to accept it. They haven't learned how to live with it. Um, I mean, I had this talk with somebody earlier today about PTSD and how it affects people way more than it affects others. You know, being as, soldiers versus street thugs or whatever you want to call them, people who lost homies in the streets, people who've lost soldiers over in the battlefield, comrades, brothers, whatever you want to call them, and how it affects some people more than it affects other people, more than it affects others. And I'm sitting there, I'm telling PTSD is PTSD, whether it's from losing people by way of violence, or was something that happened to you as a child that shouldn't have happened, you're taken advantage of, you were forced upon, all these different things. Maybe you were abandoned as a child. Maybe you're an orphan. PTSD is PTSD. But the thing is that some people know how to manage it better than others. And the reason why is because then people learn to accept what happened to them and learn to live with it so they can get on with their lives. And a whole lot of people, they haven't learned how to do that. They allow their PTSD to control them. There was this guy that worked at the store right down the road. There's a Walmart right down the road from where I live at. And he was a retired vet. He served in the military, whatever. And I don't know what it was that happened to him, but something happened to him while he was in the military, to the point that when he got out, he would do nothing but drink and drink and drink. I mean, you could smell it on him at work, outside of work, smell it on him at the store when he's working. I mean, he even said at one point that on his lunch breaks, he would just drive around in his car and be drinking. That's all he would do. Because he allowed that PTSD to get the better of him. And guess what happened? Because he allowed that PTSD to get the better of him, he wound up in the grave. Right there in the parking lot. Alcohol poisoning. It got to him. Because he was just every single day, whether it was vodka, whether it was, the Russian drink, or whatever it was, whatever he could get his hands on, so that he wouldn't have to be sober. Whatever he could get his hands on to feel good, to take his mind off of what happened to him. He would get a hold of it. And he couldn't manage it. Other people, they go to the flower. I know some people who literally cannot function right without hitting that flower. I knew people who literally woke up and the first thing that they did in the morning, literally the first thing, was pack the bowl or roll it up. They wouldn't drink no water, they wouldn't eat no breakfast, they wouldn't step outside, they wouldn't take care of their animals. They wouldn't wash their face, they wouldn't brush their teeth, they wouldn't shower, they wouldn't do anything else but go to that quote-unquote cure, medicine, whatever, because they allowed their PTSD to get the better of them. And that's why you gotta remain and control your emotions. Keep these memories so that you have something to remember, something to grind away from, because everybody has something they're trying to grind to. They have a goal that they're grinding to get, an achievement, a status in life. But you gotta have something to grind away from too, because if you don't, you will forget the main reason why you're grinding to that goal, to that achievement, that status in the first place. Because if you don't have something that you're trying to get away from, you're going to go right back down to where you were. And as long as you know that you don't want to and or don't need to be down there, you will end up back down there eventually. That's why you see a whole lot of people who, they say that they stay on the grind, whatever. Like take Eminem for an example. His situation before his music took off, before he met Dr. Dre, he was poor, He was trying to make ends meet. He was dealing with an alcoholic mother who was just, she was also on the substances too. She had hurt him a lot physically, taking advantage of him, not in a forced upon way, but and it messed him up. But that was where he was grinding away from, while he was grinding to where he's at now. Everybody needs something to grind to, so that they can remember what it is that they're trying to get away from. So keep those memories. Use those memories as fuel, as energy, as a remembrance to get away. So with that being said, man, make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, members, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else y'all know. And I'm finna get up on out of here. Deuces.